Hello, Taurus, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, really looking at what is the purpose of this connection, what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which we'll jump into in just a second. But we have a different tarot deck for each side of this connection, as well as an advice deck that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember, these are general readings. They are not going to resonate fully for everyone, and they're not supposed to resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. All right, Taurus, on your side of this connection, you have stand your ground with the 8 of Wands in reverse. Right now is a time for you to slow down and make sure that you are being heard and respected in this connection. Because I feel like that's kind of being that I don't know. I feel like that's not fully happening right now, and the only way to make sure that it doesn't go down the road of being like a unhealthy dynamic is to make sure that you stop that kind of behavior before it continues. Now, this person, they have lies and partial truth with the moon. A couple of things here. First of all, I don't feel like they're being totally honest with you about something. And ultimately, I feel like the reason that they're not being honest is out of fear with the moon card here. And this moon card can also kind of represent the shadow side of someone. So, that shadow aspect of someone is going to be those hidden traits that they're not fully aware of. And can include fears, doubts, and insecurities about their love life. And so if they have those, then they might be holding back and not being honest, or just straight up lying to maintain control of the situation. So not so great energy for the overall energy, but in between this connection, you have commitment with the Knight of Cups in reverse. I think that commitment is, possible, but I feel like it's also very triggering for this person to think of commitment. And I feel like for you, it's triggering not to have commitment. And so I feel like there's a bit of a mirror here, and you guys are kind of triggering each other in terms of how these energies are kind of interacting. But let's start, Taurus, by looking at your side of this connection. And when I talk about commitment, it doesn't mean this has to be a new relationship. This could even be someone that you've been with for a while that you feel hasn't been like both feet in the connection. Commitment can happen on a surface level without actually happening on like an emotional level. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Okay, let's start, Taurus, with your side of this connection. You have stand your ground with that 8 of Wands in reverse. Taurus's side of this connection. Taurus's side, one more. This is for Taurus's side of this connection, please. This is for Taurus's side of the connection. The 3 of Wands in reverse with the 5 of Swords. You have the Justice and the Death in reverse. Okay, actually I want to take those. So the first thing that usually comes to mind with the 3 of Wands in reverse is typically something kind of being within your comfort zone. But the way that I'm seeing it in this reading right now is almost like I don't know if it's a waiting period or a period before something happens, but you have this Five of Swords energy too. And the Five of Swords energy to me kind of feels like there's this level of defensiveness in this and coming from your side of this connection, which makes sense because you do have the stand your ground. So I feel like you're trying to be patient with this connection, but at the same time, like protect yourself from it or protect yourself from negative behavior or something. Now, the Death in reverse can be a cycle that needs to end, something that needs to come to an end. And it can be, like I said, it doesn't have to be the actual connection, but it does mean that there's a cycle here that needs to come to an end. And ultimately, because you have the Justice, in order for you to get what it is that you deserve. So a lot of energies to start out this reading. And I feel like the more cards we pull, the more we'll kind of expand on those. Taurus's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Taurus's side of this connection. The Devil in reverse with the Seven of Swords. And the Four of Swords in reverse. Because you're pretty tired of how things are in this connection. Because like I said, I feel like things aren't great. But with this Three of Wands in reverse, it's almost like you're waiting for it to change. Because then you have this this Devil in reverse here. And this Devil in reverse is almost like, okay, because there's, with the Seven of Swords, like, there is information that you are not aware of when it comes to this person, this connection. And I feel like that's because they have this Lies and Partial Truth card. And I feel like maybe you already kind of know this person isn't being fully honest with you, but for some reason, I feel like you're giving them the benefit of the doubt a lot more than you should be. Because you have stand your ground, right? Which means that there is still this need to make sure that you're standing up for yourself and what it is that you deserve. Because I feel like there's some deception going on here. This Taurus's energy toward the person they are dealing with. The Star in reverse. Right now, this connection is kind of making you feel a little insecure, Taurus. A little unstable, a little, I just feel like there's a lot of uncertainty in it. And I feel like that's what maybe why you're waiting for things to change, is because you don't really even know where it stands. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty in the connection. And I feel like it's because of this person's uncertainty and their lack of commitment. So I don't feel like you're very filled with like hope and good feelings right now. I feel like because of where this stands, there are these feelings of insecurity that are coming up because there's so much that's uncertain. Now, when people aren't honest with us, and when we don't know what it is that they truly feel or what's really going on, right? When they're telling lies and partial truths, we're going to read into their behavior and assume worst case scenarios. And that's when our insecurities are going to come out. And I feel like that's a lot of what's kind of happening in this connection because of how things are progressing. It just kind of feels like they are progressing. Like, time is obviously moving on, but they're not progressing. So I feel like that's why the universe is asking you to stand your ground here, to make sure that you're communicating what it is that you need in order to like, not just speak up for yourself, but to make sure that you're being heard about what it is that you need and desire. This is Taurus's side of this connection. Because the scales are imbalanced here. The scales are imbalanced. I mean, that's two Justice in reverse and then the Two of Pentacles in reverse. And then there's the Seven of Wands in reverse. The priorities in this connection coming from your side, Taurus, are a little bit off. I feel like you're prioritizing this person in this connection over what it is that you need and desire. And maybe that's why you're waiting, is because you feel like you're waiting for the commitment. So you're sitting in a place of lack until that comes, which is why it's like this is unbalanced. You're not getting what it is that you deserve out of this. And with the Seven of Wands in reverse, there's a lack of setting boundaries going on here too. I feel like you're not really standing up for yourself in this connection. And maybe that's because you're afraid of losing it altogether. And so you're keeping quiet about what's bothering you, or holding back until the commitment comes. But that you run the risk of creating a pretty unhealthy dynamic here. This is Taurus' side of the connection, which is why I feel like you have this stand your ground. Taurus' side of this connection. Seven of Swords and the Tower. See, this is what you don't know. This is what they're holding back. But what is this Tower? I want more on this Tower. It's like knowing what they're not saying would change things for you, or knowing the truth would change things here. What is this Tower? Five of Wands in reverse, Eight of Swords, Six of Pentacles. I think it has something to do with their intentions. Because this Six of Pentacles is what you're wanting. Reciprocated effort and commitment. But you're not being fully honest about that. You're not speaking up about that. You're not being honest about what it is that you want in this. But something, it's like, it's almost like, Taurus, you're afraid to know the answer. Like if you did speak up, you're afraid to know what the answer would be. But all that's going to do is keep you feeling how you feel right now. This is Taurus' side of this connection to the person that you're dealing with. Taurus' side of the connection to continuing to prioritize this person over yourself by not standing up for yourself, not setting boundaries, is keeping you in this Four of Wands in reverse energy. It's keeping everything like unstable, because if you don't have a stable foundation to build on in a connection, the connection's not going to be sustainable long term. And there's kind of a little bit of dishonesty coming from both sides. Now, both of it's out of fear. This person might have fear of commitment. You might have fear of not having commitment. I don't know. It's interesting. It feels like there's not a whole lot of clarity going on between you two about what you really want. But let's see what they're dealing with. I want to know more about their intentions. This person's energy toward Taurus, please. Lies and partial truths with the moon. This person's energy toward Taurus, please. Oh, one more shuffle. The person that Taurus is dealing with, side of the connection to Taurus. The person that Taurus is dealing with, side of the connection to Taurus. Okay. This person's energy toward Taurus. I only like taking cards when they fall on the table. This person's energy toward Taurus. Or if they completely flip over like that. I mean, this is lack of honesty right out of the gate. Now, it can be lack of honesty with themselves, but that's obviously spilling out onto the connection. They take you for granted, I feel like, with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Which is why I feel like they're not prioritizing the connection. And maybe that's because they know you're waiting. Or maybe you've waited for so long that that was the unhealthy dynamic I was talking about. When we allow somebody to treat us a certain way, we set the precedent for what we're willing to accept. And if someone, lies or isn't honest or isn't vulnerable or isn't respectful, and we accept that behavior without standing our ground, then that person assumes that from that point on, we will continue to accept that behavior. So why would they change their behavior if they don't have to? And I feel like that's kind of what has happened here. That's why the universe is asking you to slow down and make sure you stand your ground, because if you want this to be sustainable, there has to be a level of boundaries. You standing up for what it is that you deserve, and this person being willing to respect that. And if they're not, then that's a clear sign from the universe that they're not supposed to be in your life at this time. This person's energy toward Taurus. This person's energy toward Taurus, please. What are their intentions, though? This. Six of Swords, Page of Cups in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse. They're not taking any action toward this because they don't have the emotional availability to do so. I feel like this person is so afraid of being hurt that they do whatever they can to keep people at a distance, especially the people that are willing to care and love for them the most. Because there's no action. This person is not taking any action toward you. I feel like most of their actions right now are away from you, which could be a sign of a runner, but I feel like it's more than that. Because I feel like they're not taking action, but they're also like, they want you to keep hanging on. Don't think they want to lose this, but they also don't want to commit to it. This person's energy toward Taurus because they fear that commitment. This person's energy toward Taurus, please. I mean, there's that inner child energy. Page of Wands in reverse, Queen of Wands in reverse, Page of Swords in reverse. I mean, this person's got a lot going on, Taurus. I feel like, because this is, again, the Page of Swords in reverse, it's like lack of communication, but it can also mean, like, even if these two individuals are speaking, like, even if you guys are speaking to each other, there's no communication. There's no real vulnerability and honesty. Communication is a two-way street, and it takes willingness to learn, listen, grow, understand, be vulnerable on both sides, not just one. And I feel like this person, it's like they don't have this emotional awareness or availability and able to be able to do that. And so it comes out as, I feel like, these lies and these partial truths. I feel like they tell you what they think you want to hear or what it is that they think you need to hear so that they don't have to be vulnerable. I don't think that the lying, that's very much like, there's definitely lying going on here. And I don't think it's coming from a place of like necessarily trying to deceive you. Like, I don't feel like they have bad intentions in the sense that they're just trying to like be horrible to you. I just don't think they know or feel comfortable opening up. And so the way that it comes out is in the form of lies and partial truth. And this is something that has affected them for a really long time. And this is probably not the first connection they've been in where this has been an issue. So there's a lot going on here, Taurus, with this person. And I feel like maybe that's why you're kind of waiting, is you're waiting because I feel like you don't even know any of this. Like there's no sense of clarity going on here. This person's energy toward Taurus. This person's energy toward Taurus, please. Because if they're not being honest with you, it's because they're not being honest with themselves either. The Death in reverse, or no, sorry, those are upright. The Death with the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Swords with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Now, this isn't going to be a fun message, but I want you to bear with me because there's more to it than what I initially say. This person is keeping their options open. Now, that doesn't mean that you are not good enough for them or that they don't see your value. It means that they are terrified to commit to this. And so keeping their options open allows them to jump ship when things get uncomfortable. And again, that has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with their emotional unavailability and their inability to commit. Because this Seven of Swords, this dishonesty, it's a karmic cycle for them. This is not something that they, like I said already, that this is not the first connection that this has affected. And I feel like they kind of lie their way through relationships. Now, when you're dealing with someone like that, it typically means that they don't know themselves. And so they try to be and say whatever the person that they're dealing with needs to hear, or they think that they need to hear, in order to keep that person in their life. And that can sound horrible, right? Um, but I don't think this is a bad person. I don't think they have these really horrible intentions of just wanting to come in, ruin your life for no reason, and skip town, so to speak. I feel like they lack the emotional availability and awareness to be able to connect on an emotional level with you. So their lack of commitment isn't a reflection of your worth or your value, even, or what it is that you're deserving of. And you certainly don't have to wait for them to be willing to commit to this, because who knows, how long that will take, or if that'll even happen in this lifetime. And that's why I feel like there's this need to stand your ground, say what it is that you need and deserve, and maybe this person will listen. Maybe they'll say, I don't want to lose Taurus, so I'm going to, do what I need to learn how to commit. But if this person is willing to lose the connection because they're not willing to commit, just know that it does not mean that they don't they don't it does not mean that you are not good enough. It means that they would rather lose this connection than face themselves. And at the end of the day, that's not that has nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt any less, and I get that. But it doesn't mean that it has anything to do with the love that you are deserving of and capable of having. It just might not be through the form of this person, if they're not willing to heal and to do what it is that they need to do. So I don't think their intentions are bad. I think their intentions are selfish. I think that they're in a place of doing what they need to do to protect themselves. This person's energy toward Taurus. But that's willing to be worked through, as long as they're willing to be self-aware and honest and do that work. But if you never speak up about what it is that you need, they're never going to know. The Hierophant, Queen of Wands. Oh, this is this way. You could be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You definitely don't have to be. Their actions right now and the way that they move in this connection is coming from a really warped perspective. And I actually want more on this Hierophant in reverse. It's like this perspective that they're looking at things through is very misguided. And there's that devil, which actually makes this devil in reverse make a lot more sense, because they have some sort of a devil that's keeping them stuck, keeping them in place, keeping them from making the right decisions for themselves. And this can be addiction, mental health, fear, It can be just in general paths or energies that are not good for them. And it feels as if you have this energy of wanting to wait for them to work through this devil energy that they're dealing with. It can be very karmic, very it's like they're being led by the devil. Now, I'm not a very religious person. I'm obviously spiritual. But that's like what I feel like is coming through. Like they're being led by the devil energy. The energy of addiction, of material possession, the energy um of control. They're not being led by the energy of spirit or by the energy of love. And that is not you've kind of gotten in the crossfire of their war with themselves. You've gotten caught in the crossfire of their war with themselves and ultimately the war of this devil. Which is obviously not fair to you. This person's energy toward Taurus. This person's energy toward Taurus, please. This person's energy toward Taurus. I mean, yeah, they're being led by ego. Four of Pentacles in reverse, which is destined to fail them. I mean, this karmic habit of the Seven of Swords is destined to fail them with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. But the thing is, who knows how long that will take and if they'll actually be willing to learn from it and recover from it. I don't know. There's a lot going on in this reading. All right. In between this connection, you have commitment with the Knight of Cups in reverse. I'm going to hop on over to the extended, pull 9 different messages, and I have an advice card to pull at the end, really focusing on what is the purpose of this connection, what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Taurus, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Taurus, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Taurus.